is 10:38 p.m. in the East, streaming live on pride48.com. It's time for The Mix. My name is Daniel Brewer. I do not do this show alone. I do it with my best friend, Adam Burns. Adam, how are you this evening?
Do you think I should go into the stream settings? Not tonight, but do you think I should go into the stream settings at some point and lower the latency? Because that is totally controllable by me.
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking. Continuing in the grand tradition of continuing on a conversation that was happening pre-show, we are talking about the various ways that people are listening to us live streaming tonight. And thanks to the eagled ears of one Kathy Marshall, she has noticed that there is a hideous, horrible buzz coming through on the Discord channel, such so that it'll just drive anyone crazy and no one can hear it. And now she's wrestling. Does she put up with the hideous, horrible buzz on Discord, which is immediate audio, or does she listen to the stream, which we are also on Pride 48, but it is delayed by 8 seconds? This is fascinating. It's actually
more than 7 seconds. But it's totally. But
to any new people who may have stumbled across this YouTube video, that's what we do. We talk about just audio latency. Welcome to the audio latency show.
Well, the show used to be called Mix Minus. I know now we say The Mix. Yeah. That literally is an audio terminology.
Step one to properly mix minus an audio system.
I feel like I'm not focused on. Anyway, no, I can set. It's just the camera to you. It doesn't even matter. Like, why does it matter?
I don't know.
Anyway, we're discombobulated tonight.
I don't know.
So
we're not.
A question to you.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about what we were talking about before?
I'm not ready to talk about that.
Okay. You're not
because
ready.
It's in it is a hypothetical.
No. The thing that I was talking about that you said was more interesting than anything that was on the Trello.
Oh, I've already forgotten what that was. What was?
Wow. It was so interesting. It was so interesting, Adam, that I have completely
No, you misunderstood me. You misunderstood me. I was just looking at the stuff we had on the Trello, and I was like, this thing this really banal thing we're talking about right now is certainly more interesting than the things that we were talking about before. I don't remember. We can, however, Adam, there are thousands upon thousands of people that tune into this podcast each and every week to hear about my running updates. So let's take care of that quickly. And then maybe by then you'll remember what it was we were talking about. And then I can give you a more informed answer of that. When we last left my running update last week, I had just learned the really hard truth in life that treadmills make your life super easy. And if you run on a treadmill, then you might as well just be sitting on a couch eating potato chips because it lies to you. Anyway.
I'm not sure that it's running on a treadmill does benefit you more than sitting on the couch eating potato chips.
I was able to run 5 minutes at a time, in intervals of 5 minutes running, 1 minute walking. I was able to do that on my treadmill. And when I first left the treadmill and went outside and hit the streets, completely different reality whatsoever. Anyway, I was really struggling last week to do my runs, and I said I was going to try 3 minutes running and 1 minute walking. So I am happy to report that both of my runs this week, Wednesday and Friday, I have done 3 minutes of running and 1 minute of walking. I've got a 3.5 mile run to do on Sunday, so we'll see how we stack up with that. But we're going to be off for 2 weeks on this show, and those 2 weeks are 2 of my race weekends. So I have a Halloween 5K coming up next Saturday night, and then the following Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, I'm doing the Wine and Dine 10K at Walt Disney World. So and Zach is doing that one as well. So Zach's doing the Halloween 5K as well. Also, anyway, the point is, I'll have a whole bunch of running updates when we return from our little break because. What not? So, that's it. That's my running update. I'm at 3 minutes 1. I don't think I'm going to try to push it. I think I'm just going to keep that for my races and just be, So
you're not going to push it real good?
I'm not. Maybe after my 10K, because I do have another 10K coming up in January. So maybe after this one, I will start pushing it real good.
Push it real good.
Which is my coach. My Garmin coaches are Salt and Pepper. Anyway,
they were at. No, they weren't. Were they?
No, they weren't.
They weren't.
No,
That was not Salt and Pepper. Sorry. That was, who was that? There were three in Boston at the Boston Pops. I talked about it.
I believe it was Peaches and Cream.
No. Was it TLC?
Oh, wait, no. It was Captain and Tennille.
No. It was three women.
Oh, is it Tony, Orlando, and Dawn?
No. No, but I can't remember who it was now. Was it TLC? What?
Was it Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band?
Three African American women.
Oh, Huey Lewis and the News.
No. Okay. Anyway. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear the updates about the runs because that is my favorite part of the show is hearing about your runs.
See, but you just said the runs, and you know that Big Fatty's going to clip that into his opening, and it's going to be right as the ending piece is going to be Adam Burns saying, I love it when I get the runs. It's like that's what he's going to stitch.
Well, you just said that you love it when you get the run. You said I love it when I get the runs. He's going to cut that out and literally have you saying I love it when I get the runs.
We're going to talk about Big Fatty. I have a section here on the Trello. We're going to get to Big Fatty Show because I do want to talk about it. And I have a prepared segment, as they say, about Big Fatty Show. But did you remember what we were talking about pre-show that was so interesting?
I knew what we were talking about. You did not remember. It was okay. As we all know, I feel like this is overused now. But I treat my podcasting as somewhat of a therapy session. You're all my friends, whatever. So I feel like me being a people pleaser is old news.
Yes.
But we were talking about the fact that I want to please people so bad that I will hide things that I'm doing.
Badly.
That I will hide things.
Yes. Okay. I remember this conversation.
And
you, because you were in such a rush today because of all the things that you were doing and getting ready for the show, you chose not to eat dinner.
Right.
But by the time we're done with this show, you're going to be starving. And so you have secreted away with you some chili, some canned chili.
No, it's homemade chili. It's not canned.
Oh, okay. Some homemade chili and some chips.
Yeah, no, well, I had Doritos, but also crackers. Yeah. I really like Ritz crackers. So I have some sleeves of Ritz crackers.
You have a microwave up there, right?
No, I don't. I wish I did. I wish I did. I have to eat it cold. But what I was saying, and this really mystified the chat room, and yes, you were even like, that
you were sneaking around in your own home.
So at night, so this will happen frequently. So not just tonight. That what I said was I have to bring the food up beforehand because I don't want Mark to know that it sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud.
Yes.
It really does. But I don't want him to know that I'm eating at 1 a.m. after having already had dinner or whatever. He has never once. I don't want anyone to get a bad opinion of Mark. This is me. This is all my own neuroses. Mark has never once said to me, you shouldn't eat after you podcast. Never once.
Like, there's no possible way that I'm not giving you a hot plate for Christmas. I'm literally bringing you a hot plate for Christmas.
But for some reason, it is so crazy. I will secret food up to the podcasting studio at various times. I'll bring some chips and put them in the drawers, in my little entertainment center, or, make sure that I go so that he does not know, that I'm also, though, another thing is he is a very light sleeper and the kitchen is right next to the master bedroom. And he also doesn't close the door all the way for some reason. Maybe he wants to hear me sneaking down and what's he doing? Whatever.
Maybe he doesn't close the door entirely because that way when you come in, you don't have to open the door.
I come the other way. I come through the closet and the master bathroom. I don't even go through that door. But anyway.
Well, then I don't know why he's not.
Because I have to I have to change clothes and all that.
Then you should close that door and then you can use the kitchen.
And here's the other thing.
Yes.
I need to get some WD-40
Yes.
because our pantry door is so squeaky. And so if I forget to secret away food and then I'm like super hungry, like all the chips and all the snacky stuff is in the pantry. And the pantry door is right next to the master bedroom door.
Right.
And so I'm trying to slowly open the pantry door. It's like, I'm like, shit, it's going to wake him up, you know? And so I always bring stuff up. And anyway,
didn't you design your house?
No, we just bought it the way it was. It was already built.
Like next time you buy a house, maybe you'll think about these things.
And I'm not gonna put the kitchen next to the master bedroom. I'm gonna put it way in another wing.
You know why? I don't think I would want my master bedroom. Like in my house, the kitchen and the master bedroom and bathroom by that extension are as far apart as they can be. Like, you know, the master bedroom is on one side of the house, the kitchen is on the entire opposite side of the house. And I'm fine with that arrangement.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I love my house, but I don't know why they did that. Like, I'm not really sure.
I feel there's so many questions, Adam, but it's just well-worn.
So Auntie Scott in the chat room says, "Are you honest to anyone?" No, probably not.
But if you're not honest to anyone, then you saying you're not honest to anyone is a lie.
Well, it's true. I mean, you know,
otherwise you're being honest with us.
You'll never know, Auntie Scott, will you?
But speaking of the chat room, Kathy Bacon popped in and said hi and posted a picture of us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hi. She's watching on YouTube. So hi, Kathy Bacon.
Hi.
Anyway, and if you're wondering where this chat room is that we're talking about, just head over to pride48.com, click on the chat button. That takes you to our Discord server, and that's where we chat. Anyway, go ahead.
Look,
Adam.
that's it. I'm done. But there are things about myself that I would want to change.
Yes.
That being one of them, but it's very difficult because my instinct is to just do whatever I think is going to make the person that I'm with think the best of me. You know, whatever that is. Or hide the things that I'm doing.
I'm being told by my personal producer that I'm quiet on the YouTube feed. So, can you fix that? Anyway, oh my God, someone in the chat room is talking about Sarah Huckabee. She's your governor.
She is, yeah.
Wait, have you been following this podium scandal at all?
You told me about it in the last show, I think. No. Was it Joe? No, I think Joe told me about it and Throwing Down.
Oh.
No, okay. I have not been following it, and after he told me, I still am not following it because I don't follow the news. Like I just I don't. But I. What's so funny?
I got a text about Mark's new podcast called "Don't Do Dinner Without Me." Anyway,
look, there is nothing. Mark is fantastic. Like, I just want everyone to know, he has said nothing. This is all me. This is all me. This is all in my head. This is all.
I agree.
He has never said anything to me about my eating habits. Not once.
So I wanted to ask you this question. I'm just moving on now, Adam. I'm just moving forward.
Well, there you go. It's out there for the world now.
I want to know and by the way, I'm being told that my audio is fine now. So I want to know, if you remember, we had a conversation on this show where I didn't want to do something at work because it was themed after Harry Potter. Like, it was a volunteer thing that I normally would have jumped on because it has to do with, you know, teaching people something. And I love to tell people what to do. So it's like, it seems like it's right up my alley, right? To do a little training session on, you know, the proper way to share a document or some fun thing like that. However, I didn't want to participate in it because it was a Harry Potter themed thing. And I just feel that J.K. Rowling is a highly toxic,
objectionable
person. Yeah, she is directly targeting our community, and I would try to explain that to people, and I always feel like I'm a crazy person because they're always like, well, you know, she said something, but she wrote a book and whatever, and it's like, no, you don't understand. She's like going. It's not like she's responding to things. She is just going out on her own finding something to say to stir the shit and to say negative things about trans people. And a perfect example happened this week. Are you aware of this at all? That basically someone on X was talking about a new bill in the UK. Let me bring this up here. It's the Labour government party in Britain could make gender identity attacks a criminal offense. So if you were to purposely and maliciously misgender people, then that could be viewed as an assault, basically. So someone on X said something about, well, then they're going to throw you in jail or something to her. And she was just like, oh, I would love to do that. It's just like, I'll happily do
Daniel,
2 years.
So
I'll happily do 2 years in jail if the alternative is compelled speech and forced denial of the reality and importance of sex. It's like, she just has to go out of her way to be a dick. And I just don't understand what's going on in her brain.
So
and
when I misgender Twitter, I mean X, that means I need, because in your logic, I'm doing the same thing, right?
It's maliciously,
malicious,
not accidentally. If you maliciously do it, in other words, there's a woman who's walking into a biker bar or something, and you go like, "That's a man," like whatever, like calling out a transvestite or a transsexual person, someplace they could be physically harmed for being outed. I don't know. My point is, you have to maliciously do it. So not just
I'm malicious when malicious? Malicious? Is that, wait, yes.
Malicious.
All of a sudden that sounded weird. If you say malicious enough times, it sounds weird.
Sounds delicious.
Malicious. It sounds like I'm trying to say Melissa, delicious. But instead I say shus, malicious.
The chef tonight has whipped up a sauce that is just absolutely malicious.
It's absolutely malicious. Yeah, it's fantastic. When I call X Twitter, I'm being malicious though. I towards Elon Musk and others. I don't think they should rename that. But anyway, yes.
To me, he bought Twitter and destroyed it. So it's like, why do you want them to still? He killed Twitter, so why do you want it to be called Twitter? It's not the same Twitter that when you talk about Twitter, you're talking about something that no longer exists.
Okay.
Anyway, I wanted to couple this, Adam, because I do want to know your opinion here, but I need to finish my bit to tell you so you understand the full scope of this. Jim Jordan today decided to push for the third vote for him to be Speaker of the House. And as predicted, he lost even worse than he lost the second time. He's losing so much so that the Republicans today basically just like took it away. They've unnominated him as, being Speaker of the House.
So is this Republicans? I'm sorry. I know I'm derailing you, but I have a question. Do you want me to hold it till the end, or would you like for me to ask it now?
I just wanted, my overall question is,
yes,
what is it with these people just being such dicks? And it's like, why are there so many, like these are two people that don't need to be dicks about things, and yet they just are. And it's like, what is it? Why is that happening? Why are there more people like this suddenly?
It's hard for me to, I don't know. But I will say, what comes to mind is somehow these white people, and I understand that I'm a white person, but I feel that white Christian, air quote, well, I don't know about J.K. Rowling or however you say her name. I don't know what her faith, but I feel like these Karen type people, let's just say, who tend to be white
and rich
feel like, now I don't know about J.K. Rowling because she's not in the U.S., but the Republicans in the U.S. that are horrible, they have this, when Obama was president, they just are so racist and so like whatever that they felt so downtrodden. Like, oh, we just can't be ourselves because, and also they're the people who feel like wokeness means they can't be themselves anymore. And so they have just trumped all out. They're just like, you know what? Fuck it. I am going to be my horrible self. Fuck it. Like, I feel like that is what has happened. They're just all like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to be horrible.
Most polls show that there's just not that many of them, maybe 22% of the population right now. So it's just, they just take up all the oxygen in the room, and all the news stories just concentrate on them. And it's like, just, they're a minority. They're an ugly, gross minority.
And also the politicians.
Stop talking about them.
The politicians, I feel like, and I don't know this, but my opinion of the politicians is that here in the U.S., their base that will come out and vote and be rabid, like, oh my God, I've got to vote for these people sort of people, right? Want them to act that way. They like it. They're like, yeah, you say that, and so whatever. Yeah. So it's
but that's that attitude.
It's
that's
also
the
a bit
attitude that I'm talking about.
It's also a bit performative, because they may not really act like that at home. Right. They get on C-SPAN or whatever and like, oh, I got to perform for my constituents,
This is going to be a fun little segue here, Adam. You're going to love this.
I did have a question, but I forgot.
You had a question.
I had a question about.
You said why about Republicans?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, because as we know, I don't follow the news closely.
Right.
Is it Republicans saying, oh no, he's too wackadoo crazy to be our speaker, or is it like what and who? The wackadoos nominated him, but the ones that are a little bit more moderate were like, no. Is this what is happening?
In the House of Representatives right now, the Republicans have a majority, but it is a very small minority. A very small majority. They only have like about 16 more votes than the Democrats. So, and someone can tell me the exact numbers, but I think that's right. I think they have 16 more. Is it a 16-person majority? Anyway, the point is that in order for him to get a majority vote, and a majority of the House has to vote for the speaker, right? And you can guarantee that all the Democrats are not going to vote for you, right? So that means that you have to have your party that's in the majority has to basically vote for you to be speaker. But because there's such a small difference, right? Only about 5 or 6 Republicans have to not vote for him in order for him not to get the majority, right? When you add those 5 or 6 to the Democrats' votes, it comes out that he has a very small margin to work with. And when he took the first vote, 19 Republicans were against him. And then he took a second vote the next day, and then 22 Republicans were against him. And then today, 25 of them were against him. Actually,
everyone, I just want to say, and look, I know. So who was it? I'm missing my. So someone says, Kathy Marshall said he's an election denier, Adam. Yes, I know he's an objectionable person. He's a horrible, I understand all of that. What I was saying is, seems to me the Republicans are all about that, and they'd be like, yeah.
But not all the Republicans. Yeah.
So that is actually a bit of a good thing, because that means there are some Republicans who might be a little bit more reasonable, Yeah,
and there are, but here's the real problem is that in order for that to work, there has to either be a Republican that is moderate and reasonable enough that you can convince the Democrats to vote with you, right? Because if the Democrats vote with you, then you only need 5 or 6 Republican votes if all the Democrats are going to vote with you. But you either have to come up with that kind of a person, or you have to somehow get the crazies in the Republican, because there's probably 20 or 30 crazy Republicans that are never going to vote for a moderate speaker, right? So it's like the Republican Party itself is fractured here. And
so they're just never going to have a speaker.
Consensus.
Is that
well? The problem is we can't do anything. Like we can't send aid to Israel. We can't send aid to Gaza. We can't pass laws. We can't do anything until the Speaker of the House is sat. It's like at this point in time, the House of Representatives can do no business.
Well, I feel like it's good for Democrats because it just shows how much we need to get Republicans out of power.
It does, yeah. They are not looking good at this. I mean, it's like I feel like this next election is not going to go well for the Republicans, but and that's fine. I'm not I don't have a problem with that. But what I wanted to, the segue that I was working on, Adam.
Yes.
You were just hell bent on.
Well, because I held my question so that I could let you get through your topic, but I wanted to.
Now I don't even want to do it.
I think you. Oh, so I can't ask my questions in the middle of your story because that breaks your flow.
No, you know what I need? I need to write a script, and then I can give you the script, and you can because I'm trying to
fill
build
in where
here,
I want to talk.
Because I wanted to talk about Survivor last night.
Yes.
I know we talked about Survivor last week, and a lot of people were stop talking about it. But this is fascinating to me, and you don't have to be a Survivor fan to follow.
There's only
this.
one episode a week, right? Because I've only watched one episode. Yeah. Okay.
You don't have to be a Survivor fan to follow this. Where I will set this up in a very generic way. When this tribe went to tribal council in order to vote one of their people off, okay, there were 3 women and there were 2 guys, and the women are in an alliance together. So there are 3 women that are in an alliance together. They're going to choose. They're either going to send home Bob or Steve, right? So just guy A or guy B, right?
It was Sifu, or why can't I remember the other guy's name? Sifu's a much more rememberable name.
Sifu and Sean.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter what their names are. I'm trying to make this as generic as possible so that people will understand what I'm saying here. Because I had to pause this last night during the show just to tell Zach, it's like, do you realize how cruel these women are? So this is what the women did. The women went to Sean and said, we are not going to write down your name tonight. We're going to write down Sifu's name. We're going to vote him out. So don't worry. However, during tribal council, we're going to have to make it sound like we're voting you out because we don't want to upset Sifu, right? So we're going to, and I'm sitting there going like, okay, so you're basically saying we want to blindside Sifu. Like, we're in the majority. There's nothing Sifu can do. Like, once you're at tribal council, there's nothing that he can do. But so we don't just want to vote him out. We want to blindside him. So we're going to pretend that we're saying that we're going to, vote you out when really we're going to vote out Sifu. And so don't worry, don't come too hard at us, right? And everybody said they were basically in their little plan here. They're telling the one guy, don't be mean to us at tribal council tonight because we're keeping you here. We're just going to make it seem like it. And then they're telling the other guy, it's like, oh, no, we're definitely voting out him, and so that they can blindside him, right?
Yeah.
And if you take it the other way, like either way that the women go on that vote, they're screwing over someone. Like they're in a way that they don't need to. Right?
But isn't that always the way it is on Survivor?
No,
I don't get, because there's a majority of people who are voting for some.
Yes, there's a majority of it, not when it's 3-2 like that, and one of them was coming in from another tribe. It's like that was the case that the 3-person majority had. They didn't need to play these games.
Well, they did, because they don't know if Sifu had an idol.
Right. But you're not following what I'm saying. They don't need to play these games at tribal council. Yes, they can talk about it on the beach and they can like try to mislead people over there. But once they're at tribal council, they don't need to hide what they're doing because there's no time. They're not.
Yes, they do.
There's nothing the other person can do.
Because he says, I'm about to read the votes. If anyone has an idol, please pull it out now. Right. If they had been all like, oh, sorry, Sifu, bye, whatever, during tribal council, then he could have pulled out his idol, played his idol.
They were going to split the vote. That's why they did. That's why 2 of them were going to vote. And then the other one would vote for Sean, but Sean wouldn't be the one to go. But if Sifu played his idol, then it would still be Sean that went. It's like, this was all talked about in the episode.
No, I get it. But if you really want Sifu to go, you have to handle it that way. Because if he had an idol, because they were saying, we don't know if he has an idol, but we really want him to go. So
it was just them being, and then the one girl in the 3-person alliance, who is the true evil one, like, told another one of the girls to change her vote at the last minute without time. So now it looks like the older woman is like tried to screw over the other girl because the other girl told her to do it.
I don't think that is what happened. Maybe but what I think happened is I think Sean did that because Sean wanted to go home. So I think
bullshit. No. All right, no, and Big Fatty said that on his show today.
No, I think
and I want to push back on that. Sean is a drama queen. So Sean, I'm sorry for all of this talk about Survivor, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't apologize. It's our podcast. You can listen or not.
Sean was a closeted gay man who was brought up Mormon and has recently come out within the last, few years. He is just that was a drama queen speech. That was keep in mind, he was the one guy out because it was just after a tribe swap, right? And the other four had been together since day one. He was the outsider, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a good chance that he was going to get voted out. So by him saying, I just really want to stay here, whatever, then he's not the guy that got, blindsided and voted out. He's the guy that said, you can go ahead and vote me out. But remember when Jeff said, do we need to vote? Like, if you're saying that you want to go home, do we even need to vote?
Did he say that, though? I don't recall him saying that. He did,
and there was no one answered, and he said, okay, then it's time to vote. It's like Sean, at that point in time, if he really wanted to leave, and we've seen this on Survivor before, where someone really wants to leave, and Jeff's like, well, is there a reason for a vote? Then
no, we have, but I don't recall him saying that. But I disagree with you. I think Sean voted for D because I think he wanted to go home, but we don't know yet, and I think they will tell us. Actually, don't they usually show the votes at the end of the episode? Now I don't remember, but they used to show.
They do.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Why did I not see it?
I don't know. Maybe
did you see it? So Sean did not vote for D, is what you're saying. You saw the vote.
Sean voted for D.
That's what I'm saying. He voted for D because he wanted to go home because they were all going to vote for Sifu. And he's like, you know what? If I vote for D, then I'm not voting for Sifu. That's one more vote away from him. Maybe I will still go home. I think that's why I did. But anyway, the other thing I want to say is, so I don't really agree with you. They were being mean. I feel like they needed to handle it that way if they really wanted to get Sifu out. Because they didn't know if he had an idol or not.
They're just cruel. They're just unnecessarily cruel.
But what I thought was ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous thing that I thought. Mm-hmm. Why was he all like, oh my God, I want to go home. I want to see my husband. I want to. They don't go home. They do not go home. They go to Ponderosa. Mm-hmm. They do not go home. He's not going to see his husband. He was saying, oh my God, Auntie Scott, I'm going to, you know what? I'm not a people pleaser, Auntie Scott. I'm going to do Joe Batant's Whisper. I am going to do.
Okay, can I just correct you? Can I just before you go too much further down this road, can I just point something out to you? The jury members stay at Ponderosa for the rest of the show. However, there is one plane a week that leaves. So if a contestant is not on the jury, they can leave. They can't leave that day. They do have to stay at the Ponderosa for a day or two until that plane comes in, because it only comes in once every few days.
I mean, I don't know this.
They have the option.
I don't know this.
They have the option to stay, but there is a plane that leaves once a week I've heard this on Survivor podcast before. It's like they can leave. You don't have to stay. If you're voted out and you're not on the jury, you do not have to stay.
So I will have to take your word for that because I don't know. But what I have read is that these reality competitions such as Survivor and Amazing Race, the folks stay because they don't want anyone to be know who got voted out.
Right.
And so they require them to stay. Like Amazing Race, I was just reading the other night, they have a resort that they've selected. Because I was like, what do they do with these Amazing Race people? Do they go home? And so I looked it up, and they pick a resort, could be in Mexico, could be wherever, and they send the people who get eliminated from Amazing Race to the resort, and they have no access to internet or phones. They can't, well, at least not unsupervised. They cannot let anyone know that they have, been eliminated. So I thought the same thing was true for Survivor. Anyway.
It depends on the show, but I feel like they don't care on Survivor because if you're not, who cares about people that don't make it to the jury? Like, really? I know the order of the people getting voted off up until the jury. It's like Survivor, the Survivor results that people care about are the things that happen post jury, like post merge. It's like, do you really care about the 2 or 3? Oh, well, I know Brandon came home early. It's just like,
look, I don't know. I don't know the rules. I have not talked to Jeff. But that is what I have heard. Anyway, that's
right,
what
well,
I thought
done.
was
We're
ridiculous.
done. We're done talking about Survivor because, we're just done. We're just done.
So
and I don't have a way to transition into your aunt's death from that. Other than
she got voted off the island, apparently.
Other than the topic of Survivor has died, and much like your aunt. So
well, there you go.
You were worried this week about playing. You were supposed to play Amazing Grace at the funeral.
One thing I did is I let every one of my relatives know that I was nervous ahead of time. Mm-hmm. So that should I mess up, they already know, that I was struggling with nerves, and, they would take that into mental account, when they were judging my performance, because we all know, like everybody's judging my performance. Mm-hmm. So first of all, it started the morning with, I get up, I'm going to tell the whole day. I get up, do my workout, do all of that.
Now, are you worried about just outright forgetting the song? Like you're going to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star instead or something? Or are you more worried about just not hitting a note right? Or slipping or missing a note?
Yeah, missing a note was my worry because, I had two worries. For whatever reason, I have a tendency to crack notes. I don't know why. I need to practice more. I'm not really sure. I have a tendency to crack notes. And when I'm nervous, it happens more.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I'm playing it from memory, and so I could just get the wrong note and be like, but or something, and be a wrong note there, and then that could throw me off, and then I'm like, oh my God, what's the next note or whatever. I mean, that could happen. So those are the two things. And I didn't want to use music because it's an easy song. I do know it. I have it memorized. It's not, and taking a stand and doing all that kind of stuff is kind of ridiculous. So I went through my routine this morning, and I tried to give my trumpet a bath, but because it had a bunch of tarnish on it, and I didn't want people to see all my tarnish.
No.
Ended up spraying it with Scotch Guard because I was in a hurry, and I used to have this silver polishing spray. Yeah. And I thought it was under the bathroom counter. And in my haste, I just pulled out a can of something and sprayed my trumpet, and it was not. So it was fine. It didn't damage it, but whatever.
So you didn't purposely put Scotch Guard in your trumpet?
No,
it was a mistake because it made it sound like, oh yeah, I use Scotch Guard to.
It helps with Amazing Grace. The Scotch Guard
waterproof my trumpet from all the tears of the people listening to my sad song. Right. It sheds them off the trumpet.
Yeah. So then my stepfather, I'm standing, first of all, I was naked, but I decided to do a run through of Amazing Grace in the shower. So I ran through Amazing Grace with my trumpet in the shower naked.
Yes. Thank God for that Scotch Guard.
And then, because it sounds so good in my shower, I was like, I'll warm up a little bit. I'll play it in my shower. And then he shows up 10 minutes early, and I'm still naked. He didn't see me or anything because I was like, Mark, I'm still naked. let Steve in. Yeah. I shut the doors.
I'm naked and I'm playing with my trumpet in the shower.
So I was like, oh my God, why is he early? It's 8:20 in the morning. He was supposed to be here at 8:30. But anyway, I just want to say we had a lovely conversation in the car ride. We talked about AI. We talked about all this stuff. It was very reasonable because my mom wasn't there. She's the one that's unreasonable. Mm-hmm. We get there, see all my aunts and uncles.
Did you talk about adrenochromes at all, or was that part of the discussion?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
So I walk in because my family has a home in Flippin, which is near where the funeral is. It doesn't matter. So we went there first.
I'm sorry. It's a town called Flippin?
The town is called Flippin. Yes.
Flippin,
Arkansas. It's near the Buffalo River. It's
So people that have homes there, those are Flippin houses.
They are. Yeah. They're Flippin houses. So we go there first because we're about an hour and a half early.
Yeah.
And I walk in and all my aunts and uncles are there. I'm hugging them and stuff. And I go to the kitchen because I was going to eat something. And my one, I don't know if she's as liberal as I am, but my one liberal aunt immediately follows me. Good night, Mel. Immediately follows me into the kitchen and says, I just had to get out of that conversation that they're having. I don't even know what the conversation was, but I just know. And the look on her face was like, you know what I'm talking about, Adam. You're my liberal gay nephew, right? You know. I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, and I love her. She's now my favorite aunt. I mean, not after today, but just during COVID, and she actually wore a mask and all that. Warmed up, everything went fine. I told everyone I was nervous. They're like, oh, Adam, you're gonna do great. It'll be fine. Jesus is gonna love it. You know, all that kind of stuff. Your Aunt Billy's gonna be looking down, you know, just loving it.
Your dead aunt will be watching.
No
pressure. Just your dead aunt will be listening. Yeah. Just besmirch your memory if you fuck up. But it's fine. Fine.
My uncle was there that asked me if I would kiss him one time. That same uncle was there.
Creepy uncle, yeah.
So he's always so nice to me. It's like
he's a creepy uncle.
He's so nice in like a creepy way. Like the faces he makes and like everything is like he's so like creepily nice to me. So anyway, we go through all that, and then at the funeral, it was pretty laid back. It was at graveside. It's kind of weird though, because you're standing. So when I'm playing, I'm literally standing
in the dirt
next to the casket.
Yeah.
I'm like 2 feet away from my dead aunt.
Yeah.
Now
with flowers on it.
Now, luckily it's closed. I mean, that would be really weird if like it's open and like I'm seeing this gray ashen like body or whatever. I've always thought that was so weird. These viewings, I don't want to see a dead person. They don't want me to see them. Like, shut the casket.
Some people,
could you?
Some people want to be seen.
Saw a few of my relatives, whatever. And then we get started. There's not a lot of, basically it went fine. I cracked one note, which all of
that build up. And then the question, which was, how did it go? It was fine. I cracked one note, but it was fine.
Well, I mean, what do you want? Do you want to walk through of every note that I played? Or
you played it? You played fine. It was good. Yes. You amazed the Graces and everyone. Were people sad?
I mean, look, it sounded better in the shower naked, but it was fine. You know, it was not, it was, I'm never happy. Look, I am never happy with how I play, like ever. So there is never going to be a time.
Your shower is big. You should have just had the funeral there.
I know. I was like, just come over. Yeah, we'll just have the.
Sounds better there.
I did crack a note, and I still cannot forgive myself for that. Like that is still in the back of my head. You know, I cracked a note.
You were overwrought with emotion from losing your aunt, and you missed it. It was he was sad. Adam was sad. See, it was like
So
do you get anything for these performances? Because this is
a family. This is a family thing. I don't get paid.
This is like the
honor
relative
of playing it.
that
One of the relatives who I don't know very well came up to me and said, I really enjoyed the trumpet. Is that a traditional thing for a trumpet to play Amazing Grace? He's like, I've seen bagpipes play it before.
Right.
And that's very traditional, but is that a traditional thing for a trumpet? And I'm thinking, is this like a backhanded sort of like a, is this a thing? Like, are you like, is this a thing? Shouldn't you have played like something else? Why did
playing taps or something?
Yeah, I mean, why didn't you? He's like, that was interesting.
That's a bagpipe song. That's a bagpipe song. That's hard to say. That's a bagpipe song. Song.
Yeah, and then everybody compliment. It's never enough. I really need. The reason I'm a people pleaser is because I need validation, and I really felt like I didn't get enough. But I did. Everybody who came up to me after the funeral was like, oh my God, it sounded great. I was crying, like all this stuff. I don't know what I wanted, but it's never enough. Like it is never enough.
Never enough.
If my Aunt Billy had come down from heaven, floating on a cloud with tears in her eyes,
Yes.
thanking me and saying how beautiful it was.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that would be enough. Because I'd be like, well, Aunt Billy, I cracked that one note. You're just telling me that, you know?
Now, I had to, well, I didn't have to. I chose to give a eulogy at my mom's funeral. And yeah, I had to practice it. And I was just as wrecked practicing it as I was like giving it. And I actually, I did a Zoom call with Drew and Scott and read it to them to see if it was, if I needed to punch it up or anything like that. So
add some jokes.
I wanted to make sure that I was telling a funny story. I wanted to make sure it wasn't too jokey, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? It was meant to honor her, not to, you know,
you're like now
set up for a punchline. Like at the end of the eulogy, you know, as you're finishing, it's like, and that's why she never shat again. And, you know, it's like, you know, some kind of punchline or something.
Yeah, you're like, now is this segue to Survivor too much? Should I move that like somewhere else? Mom got voted off the island, you know, that sort of thing. I don't know.
Have you heard about quiet quitting?
Yes, I have. It's where you do as little as possible.
Right. You still do your job. You just don't really go out of your way to do the extra things, or you follow the instructions exactly as written, even though you know the intent is different. You don't put yourself out in any other way. You basically, you're just doing your job because you don't really trust your company and you're just collecting a paycheck. You don't give a shit, basically. Called quiet quitting. I want to propose a new term, Adam. Because I don't think pod fading is the right word here, but I propose that there is a phenomena known as quiet pod fading.
Yeah. I mean, I think the difference is, sure. I mean, maybe, but isn't the difference that generally when you podcast, a huge majority of podcasters do it because they love it, not because they are earning a living. Whereas with work, you don't love it. You're doing it to get a paycheck. And so you do as little as possible, you know, whatever. So I think there is a little bit of a difference there, right?
I don't know the reason. I don't know the reason why they wouldn't just stop podcasting instead of doing this quiet podcasting. But I do have receipts, Adam. I do have numbers.
Are you saying I'm quiet pod fading?
No. Specifically, I wanted to talk to you about Big Fatty Online.
The Webby Awards want me to not nominate myself for a Webby. I am not quiet pod fading. How dare you?
I want to talk about Big Fatty Online, Adam.
Okay.
I was out running today and I was listening to Big Fatty, and there were so many produced segments, just whole 30-second swaths of his show that are just pre-recorded songs, or it has no value. It's just, it's filler.
But
right?
I mean, hasn't his show always had a lot of bumpers and bumpas and stuff? Yes.
So since his shows are 20 minutes long, I decided to devote some of my time today to compare some of his older shows with his newer shows. So I want to give you the breakdown here. So on episode,
so do you have charts and graphs? That's what I want to know. Like, is there a trend line of like amount of time talking versus?
This is an audio podcast. So I'm going to just have to give you this in percentages, and I do have some comparisons here. Let's see. Hold on, I need to go back to this one thing because I did want to make sure that I copied this. One moment, please, Adam. I need to know what this is of this. All right. So on Big Fatty's early podcast, 92.91% of his
pie chart.
92.92% of his 20 minutes is content. It is Big Fatty talking. So that is, it's content. It's what you want to hear, right? Here's even here's his little. I counted this.
That when Big Fatty says he does not use the computer,
this is like his little preamble that he does.
He means it.
Y'all have to listen to. There are some who call me Tim. The most recent one, because that one was a hilarious shit Sammy.
Big Fatty online. Coming up today, we will clear up a little bit of unfinished business.
This is episode 1. This is episode 1 of Big Fatty Online.
Yeah.
And coming up today, we're going to clear up.
Isn't it funny how his voice is lower on his first episode and higher now, even though he's older?
What unfinished business? This is episode 1. What unfinished business is there on this podcast?
Well, did he have, I don't know this, but did he do that show with Vader before he started his solo thing? Because maybe there was unfinished business from the little Fatty cast.
It must be. Although he goes on to say specifically on that episode, this is not the little Fatty cast. This is episode 1 of Big Fatty Online. So
is this? Did he start?
I missed the button there.
Did he start when Vader basically quit Little Fatty Cast and Fatty just kept the same feed? Is that what happened?
February 3rd, 2008. Okay. I don't have media records laying around of these old podcasts
it's not like
or whatever.
Big Fatty and you couldn't call and be like, hey, could you answer a couple of questions for me?
We could have him on the show. Why don't you call his show and ask that question?
I should, yeah.
You could. Here's the thing, Adam. His most recent show, the one that was today, Friday, October 20th, 2023. Take a guess. Now remember, his first episode, 92.92% was content.
Yes.
Take a wild guess at how much of his 20 minutes was content today, Friday, October 20th. And I'll give you a comparison. A TV show, a 60-minute TV show, right, in its most generous form of 44 minutes of content would give you 73.33% of that 60 minutes is content. So that's a standard network, 60-minute show, 73%. So on today, October 20th, what percentage of Big Fatty Online was content on today's show?
Well, it must be 33%.
Wow, you think only 30?
I don't know. Some of his bumpers are long. I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. You are both scarily close and yet completely wrong at the same time. The actual answer is 76.6. But if you take, what did you say, 33% or whatever? 33%.
That's close to the amount that was production element.
So wait, he's almost matching TV shows then, is what you're saying.
But he's not a TV show. He's a 20-minute podcast. It's the spirited happy music. Yeah, we just heard it 10 minutes ago. We don't need to hear it again. It's not special if you do it every day.
You need to be, there. I don't know if this exists, but you could be a judge for the Webby Awards, because I think you're like there are food reviewers. What do they call them? Is it a food reviewer? What are those those people that go eat at restaurants and then they critique a critic? Yeah. You should be a podcast critic. You're like, well, there wasn't quite enough salt. And this, 70% of the plate should be covered by, a protein, and then should be. He had the fat. He just didn't have the salt and the heat. Yeah. Well, he's getting older. Maybe he can't. He just cannot handle as much content as he used to be able to handle.
Apparently, no, he can't. He's having a problem holding his content.
He's just he needs some more fiber or something,
Now I could, if you're interested, I could give you an extrapolation, because today was episode 4,000 something or other. I can give you based off episode 1 being 92% and episode 4,000 whatever it was being at 76%. We can draw a future trend forward showing that a mere 5 years from now, it's going to be like 62%. Only 62% of his 20 minutes will actually be content.
I mean, keep in mind, Fatty may be the one person that
Kathy Marshall in the chat room brings up an excellent point, which is you can't make a trend from 2 data points. But you know what? Just did. And that is just did it.
Now, I said, could a podcast really quit? Because generally when you're doing podcasts, it's because you love it. It is not your job. You're not being paid for it necessarily.
But he treats that like a fucking job.
But I will say this.
Every day.
I will say this. He wanted to quit at 3,000.
I know. We all applauded him
and
that
people begged him and pleaded, do not quit. And so all of those people that begged him and pleaded are like his bosses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And really, I mean, in this situation, maybe not every podcaster, but in this situation,
yeah,
maybe, he is quiet quitting. He's like, you know what? You guys want this?
I
haven't called him yet. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him, but I have not. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Are you going to, I asked you this last week, but I'll ask you again. Are you going to do a good morning for him?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
No.
And then in that case, let's do this.
3, 2, 1. Contact is the secret, is the moment when everything happens. Contact is the answer, is the reason that everything happens. Contact. Let's make contact.
Excellent. It is the contact segment of the show. This is a segment where we read your emails, play your voicemails. Adam, do we have any emails this evening?
Not that I recall.
Anyway, let's just get to our first one. Let's just dive in.
We have a lot of voicemails, though.
This is Brian from Louisiana.
Hi, Brian.
I heard that this is the contest line for a free Apple Watch.
Yes.
Courtesy Adam.
Yes.
Am I the correct caller? Do I win?
Yes. No,
I sure hope so. That'd be a wonderful Christmas gift.
Yes.
All right, boys. Love you. Bye.
Love you too, Brian, Louisiana. Hey, I got good news for you, Brian, Louisiana. If I raise $10,000 on this Autism Speaks race, the prize is an Apple Watch. So I think I'm at $800 right now. So if you want to donate $9,700 to my, do we still have that set up? run.mix-podcast.com.
I haven't removed it.
Or is it Run Pride 48? Is it run.pride48.com?
No, it's mix-podcast.com. Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Oh, yeah. So if you go to run.mix-podcast.com, you can, that's my donation page.
Don't you love how my name has the biggest number by it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just warms my heart.
You should. Your heart should be warmed. But I'm just saying, I will happily give Brian in Louisiana that Apple Watch if he donates $9,000, whatever it is, $9,200.
I mean, he could also go to an Apple store and pay $300 or how much ever an Apple Watch is.
But then he wouldn't win it from our show. So that's all I'm saying. Let's go to our next phone call here. Hello. Oh, I have to hit play.
Hello, guys. It's Tom of Tom and Terry in the Chicago's. Just calling to let you know that Suzanne Summers has passed away. Have a good day. Bye.
Ooh, I would have pegged Tommy for making a Thigh Master joke, and I did not hear one.
You would have pegged Tommy? Wow.
for making a Thigh Master joke.
Gosh, I didn't know you guys had that kind of relationship, but sure.
I did stay in one of their places once.
I've had dinner with them in Chicago.
Was there any pegging happening?
There was not.
Could there have been? Let's our next phone call.
Hi, Mix-Minus, Daniel and Adam.
Hi.
Suzanne Summers dead,
yes.
76.
Yes.
Woodhaven.
That was Scott in Northern California.
He didn't give his name. I feel like
he did not, but it is clearly Scott in Northern California. Thank you, Scott. Did I do the thing? Also, yes, Tom and Terry. You also get a.
I'm just gonna look. We cannot make assumptions that we know who you are. So for the future, we will give this to you today. But for the future, if you do not tell us your name, you are not going into the spreadsheet. I don't care.
Oh my goodness!
I don't care if you're my
little
mother.
boy's got to put on his big boy pants. I love it when he gets all mean like that. He's like, "No, I will not give you an entry into my contest unless you tell me who you are."
Who are you? But today,
That's your
mean,
mom.
this one time, this one time, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, the chat room is correct. That is not very people pleasing.
I know. I'm
And yeah,
trying to
we're
change my ways.
It's all part of the mixed therapy. Here we go. Adam is our next phone call.
Hey, Adam Daniel. This is
Hey.
Gary in Portland.
Hey, Gory.
Suzanne Summers. I think she's on three. Just kept me with something Ritter or something other. But
John
anyway,
Ritter,
she
yes.
died.
She did.
She was 74. So
76.
Anyway, she did. Put $1 in the pot for Scotty Aussie Battler. Talk to you. See you Friday, and y'all have a good week. Bye.
Wait, can we get that? He said 74, and Scott in Northern California said 76. I think it doesn't matter. I'm just curious now who's right. How old was Suzanne?
She was 76.
76. Okay. Here we go. Next phone call.
Hello, this is Mel, also known as I Am a Librarian.
Hi, Mel.
I'm calling to report a celebrity death.
Yes.
Suzanne Summers of Three's Company, dead at 76. Bacon, Woodhaven.
Wow. There you go. That sounds like that was recorded on a Roadcaster.
I don't
Pro.
remember how much I liked her voice, but I really like Mel's voice. I don't know if she's hearing this, but great voice, Mel.
She'll hear it on the replay. But yeah, Mel also has a podcast. It's the Books podcast. Do we know the name of Mel's podcast?
I don't. But it's a librarian podcast, right?
It's the librarian
It's
podcast,
for librarians. Right? It's made by librarians for
books.
librarians. It's
No, she was doing cooking in a book. It was a cooking book. Is Cooking the Books or something like that? It was a very clever name. I'm so sorry, Mel, that I am like cooking through the stacks. Thank you, Kathy Marshall.
Oh, I should listen. For some reason, I had it in my head that it was a librarian podcast.
She goes through a recipe. She goes through a recipe, and she actually cooks. So she's recording on multiple different sound sources. You know, she had some technical help of cleaning up some of that audio.
I mean, I noticed she didn't call me for that. Thanks, Mel.
Let's go to our next phone call. Hello.
Oh my God, guys. So I called you the other day, I think.
Yeah.
And then I got another call that was more important that I had to flip over to while I was driving or whatever. So anyway, I don't think I left a message, but I was just listening to the show, Geeky Gay 1248, and I just wanted to put in a request for Amazing Grace at my funeral. We can pay your expenses to get there. I'm not sure where it will be. But if I could I reserve you for my funeral, Adam?
You should totally be at Mount Rushmore.
Sure, but aren't Kathy and I similar ages? I feel like Kathy is or maybe she's younger than me, but I feel like we're similar ages.
I feel like she should have her funeral at Mount Rushmore, and you should play, but then immediately leave right afterwards.
I was going to say, if her funeral's at Mount Rushmore, I will have spent more time with her at the funeral than I did, the first time we met up at Mount Rushmore. That's
it's all right. She stood me up for the race last year. Right, she was going to come do the race.
That's true. She did.
Yeah, she stood me up. I ran it with her son. I ran it with Garrett, but I didn't. She was not there. You were there. You met Garrett.
I did. He was very nice.
Yeah. All right, let's continue with that phone call.
Anyway, so then I was listening to one of your shows, and Adam mentioned that he doesn't go over to the X anymore. And it's like, how do we communicate with you then when we want to give you advice? Because I sent you a message. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, I sent you a message, and I was like, thought it was really a good message, advice or whatever. And now I don't remember what it was. But anyway, Woodhaven.
Yeah.
I mean, I do look there because I don't get very much contact on my show.
Mm-hmm.
I do look there to see if I have anything that I can read on my show. However, every show I give my email address and a phone number. How would you ever contact me? I don't know.
Email address. I'm also pretty sure you have my phone number. You could text me. You could text Adam. I'm pretty sure you have Adam's phone number somewhere. If not, here, let me.
I'll give you my Kathy. If you want my phone number, I'll. If you're saying this is for not for show. If it's for show, you should call my voicemail line or email me.
Yeah. You know, our voicemail numbers can handle text. Just Adam could never figure out how to.
How dare you?
download the
I
text.
could.
So,
I just got tired.
I set up an automatic texting thing like a year and a half ago. I set one up that like texts that phone number every single day. And so I'm waiting for like you to get emails talking about how our thing is filled. It's like your message queue is filled. You must download your text.
I mean, I can manually go over there and do it. I wanted to write a script to do it for me. I didn't want to have to go manually do it. Yeah. So that's all.
We should win a Webby Award for that. That's
Hi, Mixed Minus, Daniel, and Adam.
Hey.
This is Scott from Northern California.
Hey, Scott.
Just getting ready to go into Costco, and I forgot to call you.
Why?
Another celebrity died.
Who?
Burt Young. He was in all 6 Rocky movies, and he did quite a few other things. I guess he was a character actor. Woodhaven.
Young.
Oh yeah, I recognize him. You know, he was cute when he was young.
Oh, most people were.
He's old. I mean, in this photo that I'm looking at, but they have a picture of him when he was young, and he was a snack, as they say.
He was a snack.
At least I think he was attractive.
Did you follow that up by saying that's what they say? Who is they?
They say that, don't they? You know, he was a snack. He was.
There's no way that's not the title next week. All right, let's just go on here to our final phone call, also from Scott from Northern California. Hello.
Hi guys, Scott again. Just got out of Costco.
Yes.
Man, that place is busy. So we're getting gas now,
yeah.
And it's like $5.59 a gallon. Just wondering, what do you guys pay for gas where you live?
$5.59.
Probably where Adam lives, probably like 99 cents a gallon in Arkansas.
Just
wondering.
Oh wow.
I'll take your answer off the phone when I hang up.
Okay.
Woodhaven.
All right. $5.59 a gallon. I happen to have just filled up my truck today, and I know that I paid $3.09 a gallon. So I paid $3.09 a gallon for my truck today. Well, my truck holds stupid amounts of gas, so I paid like $80 for that gas. But anyway, what did you pay for what are you paying up there in Arkansas right now?
I'm ashamed to say.
What?
I don't know how much gas costs. I just fill it up. Like, I don't know.
You couldn't just look on Google Maps. You couldn't just literally go on Google Maps and take gas.
Does Google Maps tell you that?
If you just type in gas on Google Maps, it'll tell you the sites, things that are close to you and what the price is. Like, literally, typing in gas, it's telling you $3.09, $3.50.
I think it's 3 something. I think. I'm not sure.
Oh my God. Town, Arkansas.
But,
all right, I'm now in Town, Arkansas. All right. So now that I'm here, I want to search for gas.
There are gas apps. Mark will drive 15 miles out of the way to get 1 cent cheaper per gallon. I've never understood that. I've never understood that.
I can now report. Adam, I can now report that the Shell station off of 49 is $3.08 a gallon.
Oh yeah, Casey's in Springdale is only $2.94.
Yeah, Sam's Club is at $2.90 a gallon.
I'm a Walmart Plus member.
Yeah, you're a Walmart Plus member.
And I get 5 cents off a gallon if I use my app.
There you go. So $2.85 a gallon. Yeah.
But
I'm gonna stock up. You know, I'm coming to visit you at Christmas time. I'm gonna stock up on some gas and bring it back and make sure. All right, Adam, I think that's it. That's the contact segment. Thank you, everybody who called. If you would like to join into the fun, you may give us a phone call. 707-61-DEATH is our phone number. And if you are saying to yourself, why is your phone number DEATH? That's because we have an ongoing contest. It's called the Celebrity Death Line. When a celebrity dies, call and tell us that that celebrity died. We add $1 to the pot if we know of that celebrity, and we add you into you get an entry into the drawing. And about a year or so from now, we'll draw a winner. Last year, just recently, we gave away, what did we give away? $100, I think?
Yeah, something like that. It was 90 something.
Yeah. So no, I think we played some games at the end to get it to
did
exactly
we?
100.
Okay, 100.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it was $100 that we gave away this year. In the past, we've given away, didn't we? What was the highest one we ever gave away? Like
I don't know.
$200 or $300 one we gave away in Vegas one year. Anyway, so it's fun. At 707-61-DEATH if you want to play along. Just one caveat on that thing: you cannot be responsible for killing the celebrity. So
right.
Yeah.
Also, I've been watching Medium recently. Like, you can't dream that they're going to die in a week and let us know early, and like that doesn't work either. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
3, 2, 1.
There is. I'm going to switch this. I'm going to switch this with this because I want to talk about the game plan that we have coming up. We are going to be off for the next 2 weeks. Because of travel things and racing things and all of those things. However,
mostly
you will not.
Except I will be at a Pink concert next week. So
yeah, I could actually do next week. I just can't do the week after. So it's 1 week for me, 1 week for you.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Anyway, but my point is that you will not go empty-handed on the old Mix Minus feed. I am going to, because I never got around to doing this on level 13. So I will be releasing the Three's a Crowd Pride 48 weekend, Three's a Crowd on the Mix Minus feed next week. That'll be what you get on the feed. And then the following week, you will get the Live It Up from the Pride 48 weekend with Wes Stone and myself. So you will get those two shows just on the regular Mix Minus feed for the next couple of weeks. So you will get new content in the feed if you missed those shows at Pride 48 weekend. And there you go. And level 13, folks, I have kept my word to you. You've gotten a new episode every Saturday that will continue. I am now happy to report that I have pre-populated it all the way up to December 11th at this point. So all the way through December 11th, you have a brand new episode on level 13 every single Saturday morning. So make sure that I don't know. I just feel like I'm doing that thing, Adam. I'm plugging stuff.
Plug.
Like if
plug
I were
away, plug away.
If I were taking, if I were keeping track of what percentage of our podcast is us plugging things, it would still be less than Big Fatties.
How much of our show is you pegging? That is what listeners want to know.
Yeah, that's surprisingly small.
Yeah.
News game. It's the news game. It's the news game. What questions will he ask? It is the Mix Minus News Quiz is the section of this news game. This is a section of the show where Adam will read me 5 questions from the New York Times News Quiz, and I, using only my head, brain, and mouth words, will answer those questions. These are multiple choice questions. I will try to answer it without knowing what the options are, but I'm always free to ask for the options. And after I do that, one day I'm going to copy this stupid 60-second countdown timer onto my soundboard. Anyway, afterwards, I will be doing a bonus round where Adam will read me as many questions as he can off of a Trivial Pursuit card in 60 seconds for bonus points. So I think that covers it. Does that cover it? I think that covers it. Adam, what is the first question on the old news quiz this evening?
First question is, Israel said this week that it would allow trucks carrying food, water, and medicine into besieged Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
Which border crossing was the aid expected to go through?
Jesus Christ.
Egypt? Well, that's not an option. Although one of these might be Egypt. Erez, Allenby, Quilandia, Rafah, or Sheikh Hussein?
I have no idea. Rafah.
That is correct.
That was a guess. That was completely. That was a 20% chance there. Sorry about that.
It actually says, and you were correct about Egypt as well. It says it's Rafah crossing. The prospect of getting aid through the closed border crossing with Egypt has taken on particular urgency amid the worsening humanitarian crisis.
Yeah, I knew it was Egypt. I just didn't. I don't know the names of the individual
Which country did Antony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, not visit to show support for Israel during his recent 5-day trip in the Middle East?
It would have been any of the ones that are sympathetic to Hamas. So, like Iran and
Egypt,
Iraq
Iran,
and
Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia.
Iran is the other one I heard on that list.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yes.
By the way, I know this is the news quiz segment, but I just have to say, I don't know who we're supposed to support in this thing, because I grew up in a very religious household that always Israel, right? And so that's all I've ever heard. And I don't know if that's the liberal thing that I'm supposed to be doing, but I know there are some liberal people that are really upset that Pakistan, the people in Gaza or Palestinians are being killed. So I'm not really sure who I'm supposed to support. So I'll just say I'm staying neutral. Okay. After losing 2 votes this week in his bid to become speaker, Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio did what on Thursday night?
Read that again. I'm sorry. I was I was lost in your whole Middle East breakdown there. Go ahead.
After losing 2 votes this week in his bid to become speaker, Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio did what on Thursday night?
He called for a 3rd vote, because that's what we just watched today.
Yes, that is an option. That is correct.
Yeah, that was the one today. And then he lost that one even worse than he lost the second one. And now the Republicans basically said, all right, you're no longer the nominee and we're going home for the weekend.
So the chat room didn't even answer my little question. I don't know.
What was your question?
Who is the Mix podcast supporting?
No, we're not. We're not
in the war between.
Look, it is not something that you can just talk about in broad brushes.
Which side are we supporting?
It's a very nuanced thing.
It's not funny.
You're on this. Look, Adam, you're on the side of good. You're on the side of good.
I don't like war.
Right,
I'm really not a fan of people being killed in general. In
This
general.
is depressing. We don't want to talk about this.
Daniel
Noboa, it is fraught with peril.
Daniel Noboa recently won Ecuador's presidential election.
He did.
He is heir to what kind of business empire?
Oh, he's the banana dude, right? The Bonita Bananas. Is that
Bonita? Is it Bonita or Chiquita?
No, Bonita.
Is Bonita a cousin of Chiquita?
No, Chiquita was Chiquita was the one with the big cornucopia on her head.
That is correct. Okay, number 5. Which pharmacy chain filed for bankruptcy this week?
Was this the final question? Wow, look at that, Adam. There's no possible way I could not get a perfect score here because, of course, we are talking about Rite Aid, which I've only ever seen in New York City. I just there are no Rite Aids in the South that I'm aware of, or at least not in Florida. But Rite Aid, Adam, that is the answer.
The only place I've ever seen Rite Aid, that is correct, by the way.
Yes.
The only place I've seen Rite Aid is in Bremerton, Washington, because in Washington, my grandparents always went to the Rite Aid to get their
Did they call it the Rite Aid? Gotta go up to the Rite Aid.
They probably did. Probably.
Sound like Big Fatty.
You got 5 out of 5.
Begins in 3, 2, 1.
What was the first country in the world to introduce an income tax in 1789?
The first country?
Yes.
England.
I'll give it to you, Britain. What Michael Jackson album spawned 5 chart-topping singles? What album?
Thriller.
Bad. What year is earmarked for the U.S. to grant the Panama Canal to Panama?
Oh, didn't that pass? Wasn't it
has passed.
Yeah, it was like
So what year?
2021 or was it
2000. What astronomical term gradually replaced the cumbersome gravitationally completely collapsed object?
Black hole.
That is correct. What city decided to call its new NBA team the Grizzlies after much debate? What two first or middle names can make a woman? You try to get that over as quick. Why don't you just pick a 45-second clip if you don't want to go 60 seconds?
That's
now
not
you're
it,
just
Adam.
like,
I just don't know what the sports are, and you had 2 seconds. You could not have finished the question.
time is
in the
up,
amount of
Daniel.
time that
I
had.
cannot complete the question.
That's right. Yeah, see? Then why don't you just say that? You love saying that. Why don't you just say that? It'd be like so much better. All right, Adam, it's the old news quiz. Not only did I get 5 out of 5 inexplicably, but I also got a couple of bonus points there. So that makes it not a bad way to leave this
Daniel,
break on.
Do you ever watch quiz programs? Well, you're just going to start another song right now. Do you ever watch quiz programs? Because they always go up to the last millisecond with the question.
Yeah.
That is the way it works. You would have, time is up. I couldn't complete that. They don't stop 15 seconds before the end and go, this is a long sentence. I'm not going to be able to complete it. That's not how it works.
Next time you start reading a sports one, I'm just going to say pass.
Okay.
And then you can move to the next one.
Sometimes I save the sports one till the end. One day you might get one. You never know.
I have. There was one I had to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got it. There was a thing. What? Adam, each and every week, our executive producer, Cyclone, sends us an exhaustive compendium of events that happened on this day, the day that we were recording of some other year. So these are going to be things that happened on October 20th of some other year. Do you understand the bit? You get it? You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
This is from the Mixed Minds Research Center Archives and Test Kitchen. Happy International Chef's Day, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good one. I enjoy eating. I enjoy restaurants. I enjoy chefs.
Do you enjoy brandied fruit?
No. I mean, I don't know. It sounds disgusting. It also sounds like something from like a fantasy novel. It doesn't sound like a thing that we do anymore.
Brandied fruit is the perfect snack for those who want something spicy along with the delicious sweetness of fruits. Get your fill of alcohol as well as the healthy nutrient of fruits. Yeah, that's what I think about when I drink alcohol is like, how can I get more healthy stuff into this?
It sounds like you need, and as we know, I'm wonderful at my accents.
Uh-huh.
It was like, but it sounds like, we would say, oh, my dear chap, I'd like some brandied fruit.
With my brandied fruit.
Do you have do you happen to have any brandied fruit, Daniel?
You're right. You can't do the accent. Despite having lived there once. It is also Philippine-British Friendship Day. See, if you could have had a good British accent, perhaps Mark would be friendly to you today.
He was friendly to me today, but
perhaps you wouldn't have to sneak around at night and try to get food out of the kitchen.
Yeah, it's hard with that squeaky pantry door.
I swear to God. I have a list of things that I'm bringing you for Christmas.
Yeah.
And
WD-40.
WD-40 on that list right there. So,
5 important facts about the Philippines and Britain. Most Filipinos work in the National Health Service. I guarantee you they're nurses.
Yeah.
Chevening?
Chevening.
I don't know what that means. The British Embassy in Manila has been offering deserving Filipino students fully paid scholarships, such as the Chevening Scholarship to study in the UK. Mm-hmm. Britain is heavily invested in growth and development of the Philippines, not far behind Singapore, which emerged as the largest investor as of 2021.
You don't have to read all these. They're not that interesting.
Well, okay. Area-wise, the Philippines is about 23% bigger than the United Kingdom. I'll stop there.
On October 20th, 1958, Truman Capote's novella Breakfast at Tiffany's is published in the November issue of Esquire magazine. At least 20 films and television dramas have been produced from Capote novels and stories and plays. I thought it was going to give me some list, and then it let me down because there are no lists of them.
Daniel, in 1997, Portugal's first gay and lesbian community center opens in Lisbon. This week, one of the days this week was National Gay and Lesbian Community Center Day.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that existed, but it does. I wonder if they celebrated in Portugal.
Probably. Also, on October 20th of 1982 was the official dedication of the Japan Pavilion in the World Showcase at Epcot. Even
Is that
though,
the one that we saw with those women playing the drums and that? Man, they were like 80-year-old women. I mean, they looked 40 or something, but they were like old women playing drums.
No, that was it. You have to Epcot opened on October 1st, but it was not until October 20th that they dedicated the Japanese pavilion. Isn't that interesting, Adam?
It is. Everything you say is interesting, Daniel.
I'm just reading stuff that's on the page.
Yeah.
Let's see. In 1774, Congress creates the Continental Association. That just sounds like a pyramid scheme.
I mean, that was not interesting. I didn't find that interesting. I just have to say.
Then I'll skip over it. Hey, in 1944, General MacArthur returned to the Philippines.
Well, look at that.
I figure anything that has the Philippines, you must be
After advancing island by island across the Pacific Ocean, U.S. General Douglas MacArthur wades ashore onto the Philippine island of Leyte.
Yes. Sure.
I'm not sure.
Not there.
Fulfilling his promise to return to the area he was forced to flee in 1942.
In 1994, October 20th, Burt Lancaster died, and Libyan dictator Muammar al-Gaddafi is killed. Let's see, turning our eyes to the weekly world news, the most trusted source of news on the planet. This is from the October 20th, 1998 edition. A surgeon grows fingers in a girl's arm.
So I feel like back then this was like, oh my God, this is like, no way, this didn't happen, whatever. But I feel like they do things like this now. Like they'll grow an earlobe on a, on your gut or something.
Yeah.
It's like they do stuff like that.
Most of the things they're doing there, they're not really, they actually put in like a framework that the cells can form around.
Well, right.
Cartilage
It's like it's like the Legos of biology.
But that's stem cells are one of those cool cells that can be anything. Anyway, Judgment Day, Adam.
Are you prepared?
Well, yeah, I'm asking you. Are you? Hey, do you know anything about Flamey Grant?
No.
We're going to talk about Flamey Grant in the after show. Let me just put this over on the thing here. So, Flamey Grant. In much the same way that you get emails about, podcast awards, I get emails for podcast guests. Flamey
That's because
Grant
my audio is so good. I get those as well. I might have just deleted it.
Anyway, Judgment Day, are you prepared? Bible experts from all corners of the globe agree that the end of the world is very close. Very close.
As long as God doesn't listen to the podcast where I said I sneak food after midnight, I think I'm good.
So you're saying that your relationship to God is similar to the plot of Gremlins, the movie?
Yeah. I'm not supposed to eat food after midnight. So as long as he doesn't get that memo, I'm good.
A big boob whiplash case voted 1998's wildest lawsuit.
She
Clearwater,
jumped up
Florida.
and slammed her breasts on my head and just about knocked me out. It was like two cement blocks hit me. I saw stars.
This is Clearwater, Florida. This is like Scientology area over here. Angry groom-to-be Paul Shimkonis. Paul said he was nearly knocked out at his bachelor's party when a big-busted porn star, Tawny Peaks, bopped him on the head with her 69 double H boobs. Adam, if you hired a stripper named Tawny Peaks, wouldn't that kind of imply that she's going to have extremely large breasts?
I mean, maybe, but what does the word tawny mean? Tawny doesn't mean large. Is that even? Tawny means of an orange brown or yellowish brown color.
Uh-huh.
So it means she fake tanned a lot.
It's just the peaks, Adam. The peaks is the part that I'm talking about. Means and big, not necessarily. It's like the arid peaks, the snowy
there's
peaks.
a restaurant called
the
Twin
Tawny
Peaks.
Peaks. There was a TV show called that as well.
But there's also a restaurant. Yeah.
Babies have been raised from birth in water tanks, Adam. In Romania, in a shocking case of child abuse, dozens of innocent children are being raised from birth in water tanks in a twisted effort to turn them into aqua kids.
I thought Romanians did that to for their swimming competitors for the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, they like to do that.
I mean, they do that with gymnastics. When the babies are born, they basically make them live on a balance beam.
Adam, a lot of people have their birthday on October 20th, and we'd like to say happy birthday to some of them today. I'm being told by our executive producer that we do not have a shirtless picture of Kamala Harris. So, happy birthday to her anyway. Happy birthday, John Krasinski. You've turned 43.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Snoop Dogg turned 52. William Zabka, from Karate Kid. Yeah, turns 58. And Danny Boyle turned 67.
We didn't really have a nice-looking shirtless photo this week.
What are you talking about? The Karate Kid dude looks hot. I mean, that was his picture back then, back during the Karate Kid. I mean, he's 58 now. I don't think he looks like that. Viggo Mortensen turned 65. I think I got that right. Who else do we have up here? Rob Sesternino turned 45. That's Rob from Survivor.
Danny Minogue, who I only know because she's the sister of Kylie Minogue, turned 52. Sonny Hostin, who is a Food Network star, is 55.
Tom Petty, Jerry Orbach, Mickey Mantle, and Dr. Joyce Brothers were all born on this day and have passed, as well as Bela Lugosi. So from all of us here at The Mix, that was a horrible blend. From all of us here to all of you there, happy birthday. I don't have this set up right.
I'm so wrong. I just have to correct myself now. Sonny Hostin is not Food Network.
Oh.
So scratch that. Edit that out.
I'll scratch it.
Oh, I'm the
scratch
editor.
it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll scratch it. I just have this one little thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I know you're going to tell me off the top that you don't have Grindr on your phone. So this is not a question about Grindr, but it is a question about Grindr.
Okay.
But this is a question for the audience.
I have had Grindr on my phone before.
Okay, this is a question for the audience at large.
Yes.
Anyone in our audience that uses Grindr, I have this question. I get daily messages always around the same time, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, between 3 and 4 o'clock, from some, they're always Asian, they're always hot, and they're always 33. And they all start with the exact same question of, hey there, what brings you on here today? Or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's very, very clearly spam. You know, it's very, very clearly, a fake account because it's just relentless. Every day, a different one. Right?
I think this is relevant.
Okay.
I met Mark on Grindr and he's Asian. So I just...
Was he 33 at the time?
No.
But here's my question. I have multiple questions. Do other people get this? Because, I mean, Zach doesn't get it. It's just I'm getting it. And it's Eastern European message you're looking for mature. Yeah. So there's no possible way that there's that large of a gay Asian community. And by the way, the other thing, they're always 17 miles away. So it's like their age and their distance remains the same, but everything else changes.
It's some weird pyramid scheme. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
What is the end game? Because I just never replied to them, right? It's just like, it's spam and I just never replied. So, but I'm curious, like, if I were to reply, what is there's nothing on Grindr that they can steal from me. It's like they're going to have to somehow, is it a social engineering thing to get me to send them money, or is
you could, how you could find that out? You could just talk to one of them.
But that's work.
You'd be like, hey, what's up? I'm a power bottom who likes to go to, gay campgrounds. I can be your daddy if you'd like. And there you go.
You a power bottom. Suddenly I'm a power bottom. Okay.
I mean that's catchy. That's a good line to start with. Yeah.
Which part? The power or the bottom? It's just like the.
Well, you can't just say bottom. You need some sort of like descriptor. You know,
I'm verse, Adam. So
you gotta be like, I'm a messy bottom or something like that. You need a good word, like power.
How about
it's a
tawny?
strong word.
How about tawny?
I'm a tawny bottom.
I'm
Yes.
a tawny bottom.
That could also be a title.
Adam, we do this show each and every Friday night. Of course, we're not going to be doing it for the next couple of Friday nights, but on Pride 48. Thanks to everyone in the chat room who showed up this evening. We forgot to call you out by name, but you know who you are. You know we love you. Anyway, and we're going to talk to you right now on the after show. We'll be back live, we'll be back streaming live on Friday nights. What, November 11th? Is that right? November 11th?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds right, yeah. So whatever that Friday is, November 11th, we'll be back. You can give us a call. 707-61-DEATH is our phone number. Also, voicemail.mix-podcast.com is the other place that you can go and leave us a voicemail. And our email address is contact@mix-podcast.com. Kathy Bacon.
I believe it's November 10th because the 4th is a Saturday.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So,
November 10th. Be there or be square. Something like
or
that.
be a tawny bottom.
This podcast is a proud member of the Pride 48 Podcasting Network. Check out more great shows at pride48.com.